Hey guys, Steve from CollectorMania. We're continuing the 32 series. We're on to Jund White. This is my Saskia the Unyielding deck. So I decided to go a little bit tribal here, and well, not a little bit, a lot of it tribal. This is tribal humans, which isn't a tribe that's actually played that much, that I have seen, which is kind of funny because it's actually one of the largest tribes. I think we looked at the statistics, and I think it actually is the largest tribes, which makes sense because pretty much every block ever has, well, almost ever, except for like Lorwyn and a few places like that, have had humans on it. So it makes a lot of sense. This chick's pretty good. She's a human soldier, 3/4. She's got vigilance and haste. As Saskia Unyielding enters the battlefield, choose a player. So usually the player that you think has the best deck, or the player that you like the least, or the player that you like the most. I don't know, depending on your play group. So I know that if I were playing this, I'd pick Kylie. Like straight up, just it's Kylie or Greg or Eric, actually, any of them really. So it's gonna be tough if I'm playing against all three of them. But anyway, so when you choose that, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to chosen player. So that's the crucial part here. So not only are you essentially swinging at the person that you're swinging at, but you're swinging at the person that you've chosen as well. I know because of this, a lot of people take this build and go like Infect, or there's a myriad of different other things like multiple combat phases or whatever. I just kind of wanted to be whimsical and fun with it, just because humans, I don't know, I've been trying to build this deck for a while. It's kind of weird without blue, because I feel like there's a lot of really good blue human spells, but here we are at this, which, like I said, I love the deck. It's a lot of fun. Saskia, she's a cool commander, that's for sure. I wish she was a human barbarian, though. I think that would have made a little bit more sense, but whatever. I digress. First up, we'll get into our creatures here. We've got an Uvenwald Tracker. Really good for just fighting your opponent's creatures with your stuff that either has Death Hatch or any of those other myriad of abilities. So just kind of key removal that you'll use early and often all the time. So good stuff there. Plus it costs 1. So then we've got I guess now that we're getting to Deathwatch Recruiter, there is a kind of sub-theme with werewolves in here, just because I've been trying to use those guys for a long time as well. Deathwatch Recruiter is pay 3, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this is a very creature-heavy deck, so that's really important. And then when he flips over, creature spells you cast cost 1 colorless less, so that helps you out. And of course, he's got the whole werewolf clause, so if somebody casts 2 spells, you flip him back over. So he very rarely gets flipped, and I wish that they would have worked on that mechanic a little bit, especially for, well, I guess their focus was more standard, but man, I wish they would fix it for EDH, because I'm sure there's a million people just chomping at the bit, getting ready to play werewolves and Commander. So on from that, we've got an Imposing Sovereign. This card is great. I would recommend it for not just like tribal humans, of course, but for like any kind of deck that's looking to just control the board. It's a 2/1, creatures your opponents control, enter the battlefield tapped. So super relevant ability, awesome artwork, everything like that. Then we've got a card that is usually used in like a combo, cycle, and that's Safi's Eric's Daughter. You just sacrifice her when target creature is put into your graveyard from play. This turn, return that card to play. So it's a way to save your commander. It's a way to save pretty much anything that is good that you want to keep alive, because she's just a 2/2, so really cool. There's actually a few commander decks built around her since she's a legendary creature. I love the play between this card and the old card, the Lurgroif or whatever, the one that has like Safi run, and then you've got this card. I love that they like finished that out. It's so cool. Then on from that, we've got a Zulaport Cutthroat. This is our Blood Artist of the deck, since Blood Artist is a vampire, so can't run that. So he has, whenever Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So really good for life gain, really good for taxing, so fun human. And we've got Alesha, who smiles at death. One of our main recursion engines, since most of our creatures fit the power or toughness clause. So whenever Alesha, who smiles at death, attacks, you may pay 2, a hybrid white or black. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Which, like I said, there's a ton of them in here. So human warrior, all that good stuff. Then we've got Anaphansa the Foremost, one of our big cards to buff our entire team. Just put +1/+1 counters on things. So Abzan, of course, legendary creature, human warrior, 4/4. Whenever Anaphansa the Foremost attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on another tapped creature you control. If a creature would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So really cool card. This was actually my original Humans commander, so I just had to include it. There's not a whole lot of +1/+1 synergy in here, but it definitely, I don't know, I had to. She's so cool anyway. Got a new card here, and that's Combat Celebrant. This guy's great for giving you another attack phase. If Combat Celebrant hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. He's a 4/1, so he's most likely just going to get blocked and dealt with that turn, but you are getting that attack phase. And once again with Saskia, that could be super important because you could just finish 2 people off at that turn. So then you're just left with 1 opponent, and you just don't care. Then we've got the Keyword Soup Master, and that's Audric Lunarch Marshall. There's a reason for all these abilities, like Vigilance, Haste, blah, blah, blah. It is a Keyword Soup deck, and really this is kind of like your secret commander in a lot of ways, because you want to find this guy and just give your entire team everything. Like, yeah, so really cool card, really great commander on his own, really good in like Voltron decks, stuff like that. Then we've got a Knight of New Alara. This with Saskia is just like blow your mind good. Same with Anafenza, any of those guys, because he just buffs them to crazy levels. Like, I mean, he turns Saskia into what? That would be a 7/8. So that's really good. So, or no, it wouldn't be a 7/8. No, it would. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I was reading wrong for a second. Then I've got another card that I didn't even realize was a human until I kind of looked at this list, and that's Marin of Clan Neltoth. I know there are a million decks running around with Marin in them right now as the commander, and that makes a lot of sense. I think I started including her in the deck instead of as the commander just because it got so like monotonous to just play this card. Like, it's good. It's very good. It's probably the best graveyard recursion card to be printed yet, as far as like in the command zone. But like I said, that just gets so boring after a time, and I don't like playing the top tier decks all the time. So anyway, throwing it in the deck was an easy decision. It definitely works in here. Experience encounters won't really matter for anything else but her, but still, really just cool. And then we've got a, how did you say this? Michiko? Michiko. There we go. I've been saying it wrong for years, and Eric knows quite a bit of Japanese and stuff like that, so he's good at pronouncing these kind of things. So anyway, Michiko Kanda, Truth Seeker. This card is really cool. It stops those Nekusar decks in their tracks, because essentially they do damage to you and they have to sacrifice Nekusar. I mean, that's a smart play, but if they do anything else, they're sacrificing whatever else, just to get through it. Like I said, just a fun card, really fun card to flash in. So like if you have a Vidalcan Orrery or something like that, just flash this in when somebody's getting ready to do something to you. Oh, it just nails them real hard. So 2/2 Human Advisor. There you go. Maybe advisors will be our tribe. Eh? So anyway, past that we've got Selfless Squire. This is a house. It's one of the newer cards, and I love it for 1v1, but I also really like it for multiplayer. Somebody goes all out at you with their huge attack, they're swinging at you for like 40 power across the board, and then all of a sudden you throw this out there, and it's just like, well, now I've got a 41/41. I'm coming after you next turn, all your stuff is tapped, so cool. Like I said, Flash is huge, of course. It only costing 4 isn't that bad. I mean, think about it, it's like an Aetherize. You're just fogging, and then you have a giant creature as well, so Selfless Squire. Then we've got a Adriana, Captain of the Guard. Melee, of course, will play into this deck. You want to attack multiple opponents. Having that benefit of having Saskia's ability is also great here as well, because you're like double attacking that person once you start attacking them as well. So I mean, it just like stacks up really fast, and that opponent's just like, what do I do, essentially. So really fun card. I tried to make a commander deck around her as well. It's a little bit difficult. Poor Boros, they just keep getting the shaft with like, well, this guy is combat oriented again, good luck guys. Woo! Wait, we'll give you a dwarf that does something different, but we won't give you the support. Anyway. Now we've got a new card, Samut, Voice of Dissent. This is an absolutely busted card. I don't think, if I wasn't playing Saskia as my Tribal Humans commander, I would be playing Samut at this point. This card is amazing. There's a few builds going around right now, and I really want to give this a shot with like Exert, like an Exert focused EDH deck. I think that would be amazing. I think it would be great. But I digress. She's got Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance, Haste, so keyword Supkin. Other creatures you control have haste, so oh gosh, just crazy. And then 1 white and untap another target creature. So it does everything you want it to do. You can hold this back, or you can attack with it, and then on your turn, if you have something that you really like to block with, you can just use her to untap it and then block with that. It's just so much stuff you can do with this card. So good. Very fair cost as well. Then we've got a Zealous Conscripts, great for just stealing a win with Kiki Jiki and a lot of other things, so there's that. I use it mainly to just, I don't know, like I said, get in for combat damage on the other person that isn't named for Saskia, so sometimes you can just kind of get around combats that way. Going back to Saskia, she really just gets around like Ghostly Prisons, stuff like that. It's just so good, so much fun. Then we've got Godo, Bandit Warlord. This does have a little bit of a equipment matters theme. You know, there's a few crucial equipments in here that we'll get to right after this, actually. So Godo is really important. It gives our samurais another combat phase, I guess, which we don't have any samurais. Maybe we should get like that card that when it's a black card, I can't remember what it is. Conspiracy, and then get that and just name samurai. That could be pretty good, actually. Maybe I'll try that. So yeah, cool human. It's kind of funny because you look at the top end of your curve as far as humans go, and there really isn't that much, but like the lower is just like up to like 4 is just like there's a million. I've got another big drop here, and that's Kamal Fisticroza. This card can just win you the game, like on its own. It is a overrun on a stick, and it's really not that much to pay. The 3 green is a little tough here, but most of the time it doesn't really matter. If you can pay into this more than once, you're usually just going to win the game. Once again, going back to Saskia's ability, you can then just focus one opponent, just nail them, nail the other opponent, then just have one opponent left. Or just split your attacks. There's a million different things you can do. Okay, so on from that, we are on to our artifacts. First up, we've got one of our super important ones. There's a ton of token generators in here that just give you a 1/1 or whatever, so Skull Clamp is key. You want this early. You want to just throw this on something that you know is going to die or something that you expect to die, like Saskia, and just draw 2 cards. I mean, there's a reason why this card is played at pretty much everywhere. It is that effective, and yeah, Skull Clamp. Yeah, just good. Then we've got Hammer of Proforos. If you haven't noticed yet, there's a big theme on haste in here. You want to just throw a bunch of guys down and just swing at somebody just out of nowhere. So the added benefit of being able to sacrifice a land if you need to and make a 3/3 colorless golem. Like, obviously, it's off tribal-wise, which I don't really like to do, but sometimes it's really important just to have a blocker, you know, so it works. Then we've got the super, super important artifact equipment, and that is Sunforger. There are so many times I have saved my entire board just by using this card and go and grab like Eerie Interlude or Boros Charm or something like that. I mean, I've saved myself from Yokel Hopses before with this, and people just don't even realize what it does. Like, usually once you show them what it does, and they're just like, I gotta go buy like 10 copies of this card. Blah. I would say it's like the honorary Boros trick, essentially. So, Sunforger, highly recommended. Then we've got a Urza's Incubator. Of course, we're playing Tribal Humans, so why not make them cost a lot less? Well, and I guess as a side note here too, we do have all of those Tribal Commander decks coming out here very soon in August, so we're basically a month away at this point. So picking up cards like this right now is probably what you want to start doing, like this and like the pretty much anything that says tribal this, tribal that. There's a really good blue enchantment that I saw the other day. I can't remember the name of it. It costs 3. Essentially, when a creature dies, you untap all creatures that share that type with it. I mean, there's a ton of them that you can look at. There's the the Living Death that brings back all creatures of one type. It's just, yeah, start picking those cards up now, because as soon as those commander decks come out, people are going to start picking those cards up like crazy. Same with like, for the cats, you want your Quasali Pride Mages, you want your Leonin Arbiters. Yeah, things are going to go nuts here very soon. So, just a side note. Sorry, guys. Okay, so on from artifacts, we've got our enchantments. I think I only featured one, and that's Lurking Predators. I think I've talked about pretty much all the other ones. But Lurking Predators, I only have one copy of this card at this point, and it's in this deck for a very good reason. Just getting those humans out super quick, because like I said, it's a creature deck, so there are a ton of creatures in here. So you're you're a lot more likely to hit that, the ability. When somebody casts a spell, you reveal the top card, put the creature into play. So really important here. Love the card. I've played against it plenty of times, and it's definitely super effective. So there's that, and we'll get into our instant speed spells here. First up, I have an Abzan charm. I know we talked about the Sultai charm not too long ago. These charms, most of them are just bonkers. Like, this does essentially everything you want it to do in different stages of the game for only 3 mana. Choose one. Exile target creature with power 3 or greater. The other ability is you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. And then the last ability is distribute 2+1/+1 counters among or 1 or 2 target creatures you control. So, I mean, it's got buff, it's got removal, it's got card draw. It does everything you want it to do. And then we've got another card that's actually just a lot of fun to get with Sunforger, which is Wear and Tear. So if there's an artifact or enchantment that's giving you trouble, you can just grab this, cast it, there you go. Go about your day, basically. Then we've got a really good ramp spell, Sky Shroud Claim. I included it in this deck because it is a 4-color deck, so it's really important to grab your dual lands most of the time. So essentially what you do with this is you go grab like your Temple Garden and your, what's the, Rootbound Crag, Stomping Grounds, there we go. Whew. Or your Overgrown Tomb or anything like that. So really fun card. Can actually put, puts them into play untapped if you pay the life, so just awesome ramp card. I recommend it for anybody that's just looking for a really good linchpin ramp spell. Then we've got Shamanic Revelation. Excuse me. This card is mainly here just for the card draw, of course. The Ferocious ability, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, is usually going to come into play. I mean, you're buffing your humans anyway, so great way to draw a bunch of cards and gain a bunch of life. Keep you in the game. Then we've got a Dune Blast. Usually I play this spell and I choose Saskia, just keep her. Or I play this spell, choose whatever random creature, use my Sunforger to make my team indestructible and destroy everybody else's board. So really fun. Yeah. Plus you can kind of be politicsy with this too. So like if somebody has something that's holding everybody else down and you want to keep that, if you need that type of effect right now, you can always just choose that creature and destroy the rest. So another politics card. Okay, so let's get into our lands here. We've got 2 feature lands. We've got a Murmuring Bosk. Lots of fun. This card taps for everything you want it to, with the downside of dealing you damage if you tap for white or black. It's also searchable, which is the main reason it's in here. So that Sky Shroud Claim that I was talking about earlier can go grab this. Of course, this will always enter tap, so there's not really an option there. But it taps for 3 of your colors, and it's an Abzan land that not a lot of people know about, I would say. So just a nice include there. And then we've got Gavany Township. So this is, I know we talked about Anafenza, not a whole lot of +1/+1 counter interaction. This is basically our +1/+1 counter interaction throughout the deck, besides Anafenza and a few other things. This can just pump your team up to 1,000,000, very quickly. People, once again, don't usually pay attention to it because it's happening very gradually. But at the end of your opponent's turn, you just do this, entire team gets bigger, and you're just like, well, okay, cool. And you just swing at your opponent, and then the opponent that's been named with Saskia gets nailed, so yeah. There is that. So with that, that is Saskia the Unyielding. I hope you guys have enjoyed the deck tech, as always, and then as I always say, I would go check out the tapped out list. We'll put a link in the description. If you really want to see the entire thing, there's a lot of really cool nuances in here. So anyway, with that, we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.